We've definitely had our share of music parody biopics, but very infrequently is the subject a real person. Let's talk about Weird, the Al Yankovic story. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new movie Weird, the Al Yankovic story. It stars Daniel Radcliffe as the wonderful accordion parody musician, Weird Al Yankovic, that really at this point is, just a national icon, a global icon, really, if we're being serious. But in any event, before we start talking about this movie, I want to welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. Tons of great stuff on the channel, movie and TV-wise, for you to check out. And please consider subscribing down below there, or comment, like this video, all that stuff does help the channel out. Let's get into this movie. This is unfortunately not in theaters, because I think it might help being in a whole crowd of people just laughing and yucking it up with this movie. But it is a Roku original. But the good news is Roku is a free streaming service, so you don't have to have a subscription. You don't have to pay any money. You can see this movie for free on Roku. However, that comes with the small caveat that you have to watch the movie with some commercials. It's not a ton. But every, I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes, maybe there's like a 15 or 30-second ad that breaks up the movie a little bit, and then you're back to it. Personally, I would rather have them break the movie every 25 minutes or something, and give us, a 2.5-minute commercial break, and then back into the action. But, it's not the case. So it's a free way to check out this movie, but you do have to sit through a few small commercials. I'm not going to let that affect my grade at all. Obviously, that's just a little presentation note for you all out there. But anyway, so Daniel Radcliffe is starring as Weird Al Yankovic. This has been sort of touted for over a year. They started releasing pictures from the set of him, like, in the wig and with the mustache and everything. And this movie was co-written by Weird Al Yankovic and Eric Appel, who directed as well. This is his first time directing a feature film, but he's got a lot of TV work under his belt, both in writing and directing. He's directed episodes of The Office and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and a lot of, really funny shows. So, all right, he's got that going on, and then with, a script with Weird Al, at the helm as well. I think, a lot of people have been excited about this movie. I know I was. I have never seen Weird Al in concert, but I am a big fan. I mean, I've been a fan of his since I first was getting into music in 1987. The big parody at the time was Michael Jackson's Bad. He turned into Fat. And so this is a biopic, a music biopic like no other, because we've had, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, which was basically a parody of Walk the Line and Ray and a lot of the music biopics of the early 2000s. Then about 5 years ago, we had this fantastic movie called Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, which wasn't necessarily a parody of any particular doc, although I guess Justin Bieber had a couple of documentaries out by then, and so did One Direction, so maybe it was sort of skewering those a little bit. But in the years since then, there's been a bit of a resurgence in music biopics. You had Rocket Man, Bohemian Rhapsody, there's a Whitney Houston one coming out in December. So this one sort of takes, I think, some of the more recent ones, but also some of the traditional classic music biopics, and really turns in this bizarre movie that I think you might expect from the mind of Weird Al Yankovic. There are things in here that have some sort of basis in reality. For example, Rainn Wilson plays Dr. Demento, who was, I think was, I don't even know if he's still alive, to be honest, but he, in the 80s, he had this, 70s probably too, he had this crazy, like, weekend radio show where he would play silly records, novelty songs, not necessarily parodies, but novelties. And Weird Al, submitted the tape to him, and that sort of got the ball rolling. But here he becomes this like huge father figure to Weird Al, and really takes him under his wing. And I'm not sure how real that is. Madonna and him, Madonna, by the way, is played here by Evan Rachel Wood fantastically. In the 1984-85 era, Madonna, Like a Virgin kind of timeline. And they, in this movie, start on this wild relationship. Pablo Escobar plays into this thing. It becomes sort of an action movie at one point. So there are little things here that have little nuggets of truth. For example, recording the My Sharona parody, My Bologna, in a bathroom because they didn't have money for a recording studio. That is real. That happened. But, the little nuggets here and there barely make up, too much of the truth here. And the timeline, which I think this is a nod to Bohemian Rhapsody, which the timeline was so all over the place for that. But the movie here ends in 1985, and he had already written not Gangsta's Paradise, what was it, Amish Paradise, and he already had ideas for the Michael Jackson Fat Thing, but that wasn't until 87. So it's like they're playing with the timeline here, but it's purposeful because Bohemian Rhapsody really butchered the Queen timeline. So look, Daniel Radcliffe is fantastic in this role. I think, he is one of the most talented young actors, and he's been picking really, really interesting projects post Harry Potter. Nothing he's done has ever really been similar to anything else. From indie dramas to, he was on a TV show for a little while, The Miracle Workers, to, portraying Weird Al, an accordion music icon. And Weird Al does all his own singing, but Daniel Radcliffe's lip syncing is he is going for it. This is 100% here, with what he's trying to do. So everything about this is so silly and so, honestly, no pun intended, but it is weird, and it's the better for it. There is the series Behind the Music did an hour-long Weird Al Yankovic episode. If you really want to know, all the true things that happen with Weird Al and his actual history, you can find that probably on YouTube or whatever. But I think this was a brilliant idea to really sort of skewer the music biopic while giving us everything kind of that Weird Al is known for, silliness. And Al Yankovic does appear as one of the Scotti brothers that signs him to the Scotti record label, the other one played by Will Forte. I'm not really even gonna say any of the other people. There are so many cameos. In fact, at one point there's a Dr. Demento pool party, and the number of cameos there, it's like you can barely even count them. Some of the characters portrayed include like Andy Warhol, Wolfman Jack, Alice Cooper, Pee Wee Herman, Tiny Tim, Gallagher, John Deacon from Queen. But I won't say who plays any of those people because I think it's really fun to kind of pick them out as the movie progresses. Look, I will say I do think this movie probably runs out of steam a little bit, because there's only so much you can go with the parody. But what's cool about it is it really covers so many different genres. I sort of mentioned the Pablo Escobar stuff. It becomes, an action movie for a little bit, but it is a romance, action, music obviously is a huge part. Family drama at some points. His parents are played by Toby Huss and Julianne Nicholson, and they just don't think he should, go into the music biz, especially with the accordion. But this turns everything sort of on its head. Like Al Yankovic is not just, a satirist or a parody person, but a huge megastar, multi-platinum, like biggest star in the world, like eclipsing Madonna. Like she's in the relationship with him to help her own career out in this version of the universe. And so everything's just so funny. Like I said, I think maybe we get a little too much of a good thing here. It's about an hour and 47 minutes or something along those lines. I think that's a little long for this. And it's funny though, I would have thought they sort of perfected the music parody with Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping. And really Walk Hard is very good as well. Pop Star was an A for me. Walk Hard, I don't know if I was grading when I saw that, but it's probably like an A- or something. It's a really great parody. This one I think is a very, very worthy addition to the canon, and even more bizarre because it's about a real person, and just giving us really almost nothing that's true, but some of it is true, and some of the songs that they use are true. It's a movie unlike any other that you will see this year. That is for sure. I leave Weird, the Al Yankovic story, with a B+. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Dan Reviews It. Bye.